What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing how to beat the corrupted Grandmaster Nightfall within Season of the Haunted for Destiny 2 as fast and easily as possible by going over some recommended loadouts for all three classes, as well as a ton of strike tips so you can get to farming that hot Adept Horror's Least Nightfall Pulse Rifle. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, let's talk about these recommended loadouts. Now, firstly, for the Titan, which is what I was playing, I am going to be using a Solar Titan, simply the Sunbreaker that you're usually going to be using with the Loreley Splendor Helm. This thing is so darn good for survivability, even up to Grandmaster, and you are going to have to deal with all three elements of enemy shields within this Grandmaster, so I was kind of the solar guy. Moving on from there to my weapons, firstly, I'm using a duty-bound Adept Auto Rifle to deal with Overload champions. Okay roll, but honestly, it has stunning recovery, which is why I'm using it, so when I stun an Overload, I get a bunch of healing. Very, very good. Then, I'm actually using the Lubre's Ruin Glaive. Yes, I've been really liking glaives, even in Grandmasters, guys. They got buffed this season. If you're blocking, they absorb 97% of incoming damage in PvE. You are basically invincible when blocking. And again, solar, and also a glaive is going to let me stun unstoppables. So, even though I really liked using this thing, I would recommend only one person be using a glaive in your fire team, simply because, as you can see in the end boss fight, you're fighting at a much longer range, and it can be difficult to land your glaive shots from here, obviously. Anyways, my heavy, and the best one by far, is gonna be the Storm Chaser Linear Fusion. It is acute arc burn, so this thing, which is already the highest DPS, one of the highest DPS heavies in the entire game, but certainly the highest DPS linear fusion, is going to be doing even more damage. And the boss has an insane headshot crit multiplier, so you want something like a linear so you can just shoot for the head. So anything with Vorpal Weapon, Firing Line, anything that boosts the damage, heck, even Frenzy, all of that is going to be phenomenal. If you don't have that, honestly, another good arc heavy is something like the Hothead if you have access to that. But moving on from there to my mods, firstly, I've got Well of Life for more survivability when I collect those solar elemental wells, elemental armaments, so my glaive can make some wells, Font of Might, more damage when collecting wells, and also I really want an arc resistance. In fact, you guys can see I actually changed the element of my chest piece just so I could put an arc resist mod on. 100% worth it for this Nightfall. Then Bountiful Wells, I'm spawning more wells, and Elemental Ordnance for my grenades spawning wells. Moving on from there to our Hunter. It's just going to be a pretty common Mobius Quiver invisibility setup here. The featured exotic is going to be the Aeon Swift, with of course Sective Insight to get heavy ammo. Storm Chaser is so huge for DPS, might as well capitalize on that. Weaponry is going to be the Witherhoard, very, very good. And then this Vouchsafe, guys, this is probably one of the best scout rifles you can be using for this Nightfall. There's a lot of void shields, and this can get explosive. Remember, you can actually turn your Umbrals into Dreaming City weapons within the helm, so absolutely do that to try to get one of these with explosive. And also, if you have access to it, and I should have been doing this, but I kind of forgot, Taken Spec, guys, there's pretty much nothing but Taken within this Nightfall, so this is going to be doing way more damage to 99% of enemies within it. Then, of course, Storm Chaser again, this time with auto-loading plus Firing Line, still God tier. Then for the mods, we've got Bountiful Wells for more well production, Reaping Wellmaker, super good on a Hunter because you're dodging so much for invisibility. Then we've got Radiant Light, and this setup here where we have double arc resist plus the seasonal double resist because we have an artifice armor. Like, if you can make this happen, this is absolutely the best thing you can put together. But then we have a Well of Utility for more class ability energy, and then Powerful Friends, which of course is going to trigger Radiant Light, and Radiant Light is going to trigger Powerful Friends for more stats. Then moving on from there, guys, we're just using a Well of Radiance Dawnblade here, Touch of Flame, Icarus Dash, kind of the average stuff you see. Then the features exotic is actually just the currency armlets. Honestly, I think my teammate just liked them and wanted to keep them on, but you should probably be using the Phoenix Protocol instead for more wells, or you can really use whatever exotic you want. Like, the important part is the well, so whatever you want to kind of enhance with an exotic, go ahead and do that. Now, the weaponry here, firstly, we have a Hung Jury, another absolutely S+ tier scout rifle to be using here. Rapid hit explosive, so darn good. Then, if someone on your fire team has a divinity, it is amazing in this Nightfall. So built-in overload rounds, it's going to cause a bubble that's going to make all shots precision and enhance the damage. Perfect when you're using those storm chasers for massive DPS, not just on the champions, but also there's many mini bosses within this Nightfall as well. And even against the boss, divinity was clutch in this Nightfall. I don't like to recommend it too much because I know not everyone has it, but like, again, if it was going to be used in any Grandmaster this season, it'd probably be this one, especially with Acute Arc Burn enhancing its own damage even more so. Then another Storm Chaser, what do you know? After that, in terms of the mods, Elemental Ordnance here. After that, we have Elemental Charge to become charged with light from picking up those wells. High Energy Fire is kind of the payoff here, and if you can get like one well before you damage a boss with your Storm Chaser, yeah, that's going to be some huge DPS. We also have Shield Break Charge, really easy way to get charged with light, especially in something with match game. And we end things off with Classy Restoration, of course, but also Molten Overload, where your grenades will stun overload champions. Great idea you should consider as well if you're running Solar. Now let's move on to the tips for the strike itself. So when you load in, you're going to find out right away that definitely Void is the main enemy shield you're going to encounter. So make sure like someone is using something like a Vouchsafe. Someone should have a Void primary. As for the other shields, again, you're going to encounter them and they're going to be important. But again, I had like a Solar Lubraze and it was still enough to handle the Solar shields we did encounter. But once you get through this first part, and really the only tip here is make sure to shoot the orbs that are coming at you before they kill you, you're going to enter into this first area. So the important thing about this is that you can kind of pre-charge some of these balls to throw. Make sure not everyone is standing there with a ball. You want like someone to have grenade, Witherhoard, whatever, to deal with these spawning scions. There is a lot, but you can have like the other two people ready and waiting with the ball to absolutely strip the shields off these bosses, and then you can kind of take them down with your heavies and specials. Keep in mind that the Taken Phalanx shield attack is going to be arc, so yeah, you definitely want to burst those guys down as quickly as possible because they can absolutely one-shot you. Now, once you're done with that, you're going to have to fight your first Unstop Ogre from across the way here. Don't stand near the edge to the Boomer Knights. Yeah, they're also shooting arc, as you can see. So definitely try to take those guys down or be a little bit more behind cover than I was. But you're just going to battle your way forward until eventually you reach this section here, and this is really important to do right. So you're going to start out, normally a giant ogre is going to spawn when you move enough forward and some champions, but then after a certain amount of time, you're going to be teleported into the Ascendant Realm, and then there's going to be the Taken version of champions and the giant ogre. So there's a certain order in which you want to do things to make this efficient. So the first thing you want to do when enemies are spawning is find the unstoppable ogre and kill this guy as quickly as possible. Now, after that, if you have enough time, you can melt the boss, but for most teams, just stop after that. You're going to get teleported to the Ascendant Realm, and then here you don't really need to do anything. Obviously you can kill a few normal enemies, but definitely don't kill the boss or anything like that. You're going to be teleported back, and then you take out the boss, the normal ogre boss, because after that you're going to get teleported into the Ascendant Realm, and you're going to stay here. Like, you're not going to teleport at all. And also, it's easier to fight in this Ascendant Realm for most people than it is in the normal realm. If you end up in the normal realm, there's like a ton of arc shielded knights that just charge you, so it's a little bit easier here in the Ascendant Realm. So from this point, you already killed the champion and the boss in the normal realm. You kill the other two champions and the boss in this realm, and then you're just going to, group invis and run from the shriekers into the portal and teleport out. Like, way easier to deal with. However, once you do go through that portal, there's going to be unstopped champions right in front of you, so double back and get kind of behind this gate and take them down kind of one by one as they charge you. Now, as you continue forward, just remember you actually don't have to kill this kind of mini boss guy. You can go past him, but of course, if he's messing with your team or killing some people, you may want to take him down. Now, for this next part, very importantly, guys, I didn't used to be like this. Bungie actually updated this recently, but now you're going to travel to allies. So only send one guy down here at a time. He's going to drop down, traverse here. You can jump from kind of rock to rock. You can just go for a straight shot. But if one person makes it down there, it's going to drag the other two people. You definitely don't want to all three go and all three die, right? Go one at a time. Now, moving on to the boss fight. Firstly, hypothetical scenario, make sure your teammate doesn't somehow die jumping down these super simple rocks, and then you have to start the encounter. His res teleports right in front of all the enemies and causes a bunch of trouble. Good thing that didn't happen to us. Anyways, as you can see here, guys, you can hold out on this back rock. This is key. It puts distance between you and all the enemies spawning. You can use this pillar here to hide from the boss's attacks. Just make sure you're not standing too close together, because sometimes the boss will like snipe through a nanometer pixel and actually hit you. So again, if you're all standing together, grouped up, you can all be wiped. But if you're just a little bit apart, like on other sides of this kind of pillar here, you should be fine. Definitely back here is by far the safest thing to do. Now, once all the ads are dead, you want to go and get the orb, charge it up, and throw it at the boss. But at this point, you actually don't want to DPS the boss. Wait a bit, kill all the ads that are then going to spawn so you can throw the ball, as you can see, and then jump right back to that safety rock, deal with all the ads. Now, once they are all dead, then you want to go for the boss. And where you want to go is kind of where we go right here. Pop your well and then go to town on this boss. And from this location, as you can see, you're going to be able to have a clear line of sight on her before and after she teleports. And technically right here, if you're hitting all headshots and your team is with it, you can melt her and kill her right here. But more often than not, that's not going to happen, but you are going to do a significant amount of damage. Now, once you've done this damage, you guessed it, go back to the rock of safety and hold out there again from all the ads. Now, once these ads are dead, you're again going to make your way forward. You're going to grab yet another orb and get ready to throw it at the boss. However, when you do, some important things are going to happen. Likely, if you did that first scenario and kind of went for the hypothetical one phase, she's going to be really weak. So the second you break her shield, as you can see with us, she just instantly teleports. However, run over to this location and pick up the relic. As you can see, guys, you can pick up this relic and head right through the portal, and if everyone is fast, you can completely avoid all the ads. But maybe send the first two guys first right away, and then the invisible hunter will go and grab this relic just in case. But as you can see, you can make it through the portal with a relic. This is huge, because then you have another opportunity to melt this boss early. So you're going to go forward and deal with the first group of guys on this immediate rock. So the knight here, as well as the Overload champion. There's more guys on the other rock where the boss is. You do not want to deal with those guys. You do not want to kill them, because if you do, that's going to cause the boss to move. So set up, as you can see, pop a well if you have it, and you can break that shield, and then as you can see, take this boss down early. You're still going to get platinum because the other champions haven't even spawned yet, because she's still on that first rock, and there you have it. If you can pull that off, absolutely huge. Now, if you don't do that, something goes wrong, or you didn't make it through the portal with an orb, simply go to the end boss fight. And then the one tip I have for you guys here is just make sure that you are on that separate rock, kind of just like before. There's a rock you can hold out on, and you don't need to be right up where the boss is. And that's really the strat for beating that boss fight, kind of killing all the ads first, making sure everything's safe, sending like the invisible hunter to go and get the orb, and going from there. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.